a man who was incapable of adhering to a phone plan. For Mendeecees Harris, Yandy Smith just performed the unimaginable after playing Ride or Die Barbie for almost 10 years. At last, sis declared, "I'm out." Yes, the year's biggest narrative twist was just revealed by the lady who created a whole brand on being the epitome of loyalty. Furthermore, we're not discussing some mild shade or a lovely little argument. Oh, this breakup is a slow-cooked public humiliation accompanied by receipts, betrayal, and ego. What then caused a partnership that endured incarceration? Reality TV chaos, and a public persona based on black love objectives to abruptly fall apart like a dollar shop wig in a thunderstorm. Was it the years of disdain, the emotional distance, or the uncertainty about whether I would wait for you? Interview in which virtual tomatoes were thrown by black Twitter users. Or was Yandy out here protecting his name like a full-time job, and this man was just exploiting her for clout? Hold on tight, for what did you believe you knew about this alleged power couple? Yes, we are going to burn it. Let's go back in time to this romantic tale, as what began as black love goals turned out to be gaslighting by black people. And the receipts are hot, darling. We were once presented with a love tale that appeared to belong in a Tyler Perry finale without the wigs between the glittering mayhem of hip-hop and H1's Love Mendeecees Harris, the streetwise ex-hustler who is converted into a family, and Yandy Smith, the intelligent, well-groomed, business-savvy woman. Prison man, confessionals, promises, tears, and cameras phrases. Yes, there were federal charges related to this fairy tale. Mendeecees was given an 8-year prison sentence for cocaine trafficking in 2015, shortly after a spectacular wedding that was broadcast on television. Furthermore, what did Yandy do? Did she exit the Rolls-Royce, cry, and disappear? At all, sis. Redoubled her devotion as if it were a trademark agreement, by attending visitations in full glitz, raising children alone, opposing jail conditions, participating in reality shows, and operating her enterprises as if nothing could ever break her. She became the epitome of ride or die culture. Yandy was doing the emotional labor of 10 women with no toes, while Mendeecees was doing time. However, that's where the fishers you know how it goes. Girl, he'd be calling other women from jail. He was seen talking slick about her. This marriage might be for TV, but Yandy never folded. She kept it classy, kept it tight until the infamous 2021 interview. Industry insiders began whispering about a toddler with sticky fingers. I don't know what I would have done. Excuse me? After 5 years of this woman holding you down like Gorilla Glue after she protected your name harder than an NDA. Mendeecees does the I've grown routine while sitting on a panel all suited up. Someone asks him directly, if Yandy had gone to prison, would you have waited for her? That moment, TikTok stitched that clip into oblivion, Twitter went all CSI, and for many fans, it was the end of the black love fairy tale. After all, what kind of man shrugs while watching a woman sacrifice everything for him? That's where it gets really spicy. When fans rewatched old episodes, interviews, and Instagram posts, they began to see what had always been there. Mendy, he never was. Wasn't just some awkward slip. It was a window into something much uglier, a pattern of emotional detachment, selfishness, an outright disregard that had apparently been going on for years. One source close to the couple told us on condition of anonymity because this tea is scalding. They were accused of flirting with other women, throwing shade behind the scenes, and letting Yandy do all the heavy lifting emotionally, financially, and publicly. She was the manager, the wife, the image consultant, the babysitter, and the spiritual advisor rolled into one, while he just had to sit and occasionally act like he cared. It worked for a long time because fans wanted to believe in them. We needed that storyline. We wanted to see a strong black couple survive the system. Maine knew that he played into it because it kept his name clean. But he was more in love with the image of holding it down than with what was actually happening. Regardless, of your favorite ship, the truth never cares. Fast forward to Mendy's post-prison appearance, and what we got was an image makeover. A growth journey, speaking engagements, and Instagram captions about discipline and elevation. But what we didn't get was gratitude. This man never once publicly thanked Yandy for what he did, saying things like, "You didn't have to do what you did, but you did it anyway." Instead, he gave us the impression that he was detached, sideys, reality show confessionals, and lukewarm platitudes like we were working during one of the episodes. Yandy finally spoke up calmly, classily, but with that pain-soaked voice only real people can recognize. No, she was working. You were coasting. Let's talk about marriage boot camp because, honey, if there was ever a moment when the facade shattered like a cheap mirror, it was that. That hit like a slap with a velvet glove. The therapist asked Mendy if he had ever been unfaithful. He looked down, shifted, and said, "I don't like you. I'm protected, unloved, and alone in the relationship. The same woman who protested for you, fed your kids, and cried in private while defending you in public was now standing there wondering if you even liked her." "Yes, I have done some things that I'm not proud of," he replied. Every devoted Black woman watching that program felt a little inwardly shaken because in that one sentence, everything made sense. The strange body language, the aloof attitude, the lack of appreciation, and the refusal to claim Yandy the way she claimed him. Boom, mic drop. TV silence. Yandy was driving that bus alone. And it wasn't just confusion, it was conviction. He had never been all in. He had just been along for the trip. However, it didn't end there, because as soon as that episode aired, the floodgates opened, causing anonymous blog pages to post direct messages and alleged screenshots of Mendeecees. Of it may be smoke, but when the air is this thick, there's usually fire behind it. Sources say he was spotted in Atlanta with someone who wasn't. Yandy and business partners say he was making deals without her. What did Yandy do? She remained silent, as she always does, remained faithful and classy. But even that stillness began to sound like a scream. Her posts became increasingly cryptic with diary-style captions. She stopped tagging him. She began to appear alone. And followers noticed, leaving comments like, "Yandy, blink twice if you're done. Sister, where is your crown?" He lost the ability to defend himself since you held him down for so long. Perhaps the most tragic aspect of all of this is that Yandy never wanted to reveal the truth about him, and she still won't because deep down, she thought that if she just waited a little while, she might be able to believe in him, the picture, and the potential that it would all make sense if it were longer. But what happens when the fairy tale becomes a hostage situation? When loyalty becomes a cage, and when the man you've built your empire around turns out to be your biggest liability. That's when this story really starts to go south. Because just when fans thought they had seen the worst, just when it appeared that Yandy would either forgive him again or suffer in silence forever, a revelation came out that completely turned the story of hip-hop and love on its head. And believe me, what you're going to hear next will make you wonder if this marriage was ever real in the first place. However, Babby, if you thought that was the climax, you'd better hold on tight because the tea is just getting started. Let's talk about what really got people talking and flipping wigs in the streets and on the timeline because, Chile, after Yandy started making Let's Pandemonium, Yandy didn't simply wake up one day and declare, "I'm done with Mendeecees." Fans began conducting research, and what they discovered, a few, does boom. No, she used a Lori shaker of love and hip-hop drama to play the game like a strategist on House of Cards in the background. She had already stopped wearing her ring months before the suspicions surfaced. You can see the subtle shade on Instagram. You can see the cryptic messages. You can see the fact that Yandy apparently purchased a new condominium in Atlanta. But the paperwork didn't include Mendeecees' name. Excuse me, but that's what really sent the internet into a frenzy. People began to speculate, was this Vivi soft entry into single life? Was she hoarding assets to avoid? An anonymous source close to Yandy team claimed that she made that purchase discreetly. It's like a whisper in church during offering time. And that it wasn't just any property, was an entire luxury corner lot with a walk-in closet the size of a corner store. It is no surprise that Yandy had an exit strategy as sharp as the cut crease on a beauty influencer. But here's the thing, she has always been the brains behind the operation. And even when Mendeecees was in jail, she kept the empire running, with her skincare lines, philanthropy, and endless shrewd posts that somehow made even beef look brandable. He was reportedly the last to find out. One of his days revealed that John Day never formally informed him that she was finished. Instead, she simply began transferring various missed calls and delayed responses. He also said that he would no longer have FaceTime with the kids while he was out of town, and when Mendy tried to confront her coldly, she hit him with the fabled "just need some space." In any situationship, that space line is the kiss of death. It's reality TV code for you to learn on the blogs what I didn't have the courage to tell you face to face. And oh, he did. Fast forward to the reunion taping, where the atmosphere was so cold that it would freeze Mona Scott's weave glue. Behind the scenes, cast members were Mendy wants a couple's photo, but Sis says she's not feeling it. Then, looking perplexed, Mendy asks someone off camera. Mendy allegedly overheard one of the backstage stylists say, "She's acting like I'm her side dude that overstayed his welcome." Her husband is, however, the #Y and Yanth followed trends within minutes of the reunion airing. And fans swore she was preparing a bombshell announcement. And they weren't wrong, because just a week later, Yandy did a now-deleted sit-down interview with an empowerment podcast in which she dropped nothing less than a verbal Molotov cocktail on the subject. Producers, oh, they were eating it up. Cameras zoomed in, the lighting crew turned up the saturation, and social media prepared. She didn't mention names, but when you say things like, "Sometimes you build with people for years and then realize they were only there for the blueprint, not the house. You don't need to mention, honey, oh no." Twitter took a nosedive. TikTokers broke down what she meant by blueprint in a 3-part series. 45-minute articles were written by YouTubers entitled, "Did Mendeecees just get mentally evicted?" But let's not act brand new. This isn't just about shade and property. Possibly. Money is allegedly involved as well. Let's discuss the money. Courting. To insiders, Mendeecees began to feel very at ease, taking money out of joint corporate accounts as if they were his own piggy bank. Luxury sneakers, travel bills, spa days, even a purported investment in a Miami hookah business. That didn't work out. That accounting folder in her notes app was dynamite, but Yandy's sister saw it and remained silent. This is when it becomes even crazier. A voice memo that was leaked. Indeed, a voice message that was made public last week. A woman posing as Yandy Cousins stated, "Girl, he thought he was slick, booking massages at MTE before pretending that the encounters were for business. No, Yandy took out the invoices. To even have the therapist on camera stating that he arrived by himself. It's just a few of you. A supervisor, not in a relationship. Themselves, it wasn't a sports massage either. It was among them essential oil that is mood-lit. Slow jams are played at R&B massage joints. Add that to the cash withdrawals, the erratic parenting, the late-night club appearances, and the Instagram models who inexplicably like all of his photos at 2:30. 4 a.m., the fans were still divided despite Yandy's decision to pack her emotional bags and say, "Peace out, playa." She ought to have held it down, according to some. She waited too long, according to others. However, the genuine ones gave her a standing ovation at the conclusion of a bonked-out journey. Instead of simply leaving, Yandy leveled up, walked up, collected her stuff, and above all did so without a single mugshot, tirade on Twitter, or drunken outburst on national television. We must stand. However, we had to discuss Mendy's next course of action before we began awarding awards, since Chile did not take lying down Sources close to Mendeecees claim that he is working on his own Tell-All digital series. Indeed, there was a full YouTube rollout that included his version of events, behind-the-scenes videos, and even a diss track titled Red Flags and Receipts. He's rapping now. Yes. Furthermore, it is reported that he is collaborating with Little Scrappy to executive produce it. It gets better, baby. Although I don't know what screams midlife crisis with a MacBook Pro. There are rumor has it that Mona Scott is rushing to sign them both to separate spin-off contracts before the whole thing devolves into a media frenzy. Because, well, reality TV. It may be messy, but money is involved. And this breakup is going to draw in more viewers than the strip club arcs Rashida and Kirk's baby mama. Having said that, Mendy notices a symbol as Yandy stealthily files papers. Fans are left with more questions than answers. Production crew. Will this be the last breakup? Or is this the first installment of a multi-season series? Because no farewell is ever final in the worlds of hip-hop and love. Before the next scandal is merely a commercial break. However, just when you believed there was no more depth to the rabbit hole, then it collapses. Because fans weren't simply shocked by what happened next. It shattered their alleged empire's basic base. Let's discuss the repercussions of fallout and the current raging controversy concerning Mendeecees Harris and Yandy Smith. Social media became a virtual battleground with the release of the widely shared video of Yandy slamming that door and leaving Mendeecees more quickly than you could say Mendeecees Andy isn't faithful. #Andy deserves better trended. Fans were calling for action rather than only reacting. Blogs took off. Back-to-back reaction videos and even rumors about Annie on Facebook were posted by YouTubers. Opinions on live were more heated than fish oil. Additionally, Mendy remained mute as Yandy posted cryptic comments and busy and booked photos on Instagram. He felt that it was the ideal moment to embark on a podcast tour. Yes, the man believed he could turn this breakup into a story about redemption. "Baby, please," he said, trying to illustrate his point while sitting in studios with red lights and a cheap mix. Discussing how difficult marriage is and how Yandy changed after being famous. But the streets weren't buying it. The situation was really made worse by a blogger who went by the name Sip with Sasha, who said she was sent hacked emails that revealed Mendeecees was supposedly preparing a covert separation strategy months before the breakup became public. Oh, how disorganized. The receipts were allegedly sent emails from a burner account discussing media distractions, asset protection, and even working with an Atlanta public relations girl to rewrite the story. And few children, if you thought that was awful, the true bomb went off at that point. Real estate endeavors involved more than just property flipping. It had to do with identity swapping. 2 documents were purportedly submitted under multiple properties under Yandy name. Suddenly, a trail of backdoor transactions, unpaid taxes, and mishandled money started to emerge. The worst part is about to come. One of those properties, purportedly associated with a Virgin Islands registered corporation, was traced back to a person going by the name Melvin D.H. You tell me who that sounds like. One fictitious paper claims that Yandy might have unintentionally been identified as a silent partner in a multi-million-dollar development scam that was disclosed on TikTok. Internet detectives went full CSI despite the paper being watermarked and edited to muck. There were threads on Twitter. County documents started to be thoroughly examined. 3 in-depth exposes with side-by-side comparisons were shared by TIK2KERS. Use stamps, and fonts to support their arguments and the online consensus. Yandy didn't simply go because he had cheated. To avoid an avalanche of legal mayhem, she fled. But hold on, we're not finished yet. 'Cause the feds were watching, honey. Naturally. Unverified reports claim that a covert government investigation had been simmering since Mendeecees' return from a prison. Some actions prompted concerns. Mendeecees allegedly broke the terms of his parole by participating in business activity that the court had not approved of, according to a Pearl Board whistleblower who called into an anonymous late-night Instagram live while wearing a ski mask. And he might be considering another bid if that proves to be the case. In the meantime, Yandy was spotted in downtown Manhattan conferring with attorneys. Sis remained 10 toes down despite the paparazzi's attempts to catch her slipping. Pure power walk enthusiasm. It's the same stroll women take when they realize they're going to have to start over after destroying everything. It becomes even more cinematic at this point. An insider stated in an interview with the fictitious program Tea and Trauma that Yandy was in negotiations to start her own business. Unshackled. The real Yandy story is the working title. Give it time to marinate. Sis is allegedly cashing the check and flipping the script in addition to supposedly leaving Mendeecees. It has been reported that she intends to reveal everything, including their early hardships, the cast, the falsehoods, the legal shambles, and the love and grief. It's juicy, I see, according to reports. Producers are considering using Eric Cambella, and perhaps Remy Ma in a cameo to help tell the story of the emotional roller coaster. Fans, however, are split. Some are side-eyeing her, accusing her of playing victim to enhance her brand, and others are screaming, "Yes, Queen! Get your coin and your closure." Additionally, in the middle of it all, children. Yes, we must not overlook the infants. According to insiders, talks for custody are already in progress. Behind closed doors, Yandy is purportedly advocating for complete legal custody to protect kids from unfavorable influences and erratic commercial transactions. Mendeecees is allegedly attempting to establish himself as the more involved parent in the meanwhile. It's a mess. Government surveillance, burner emails, betrayal, real estate fraud, and phony podcast apologies. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. Because some people think there will be one more twist while the rest of the world watches this show unfold. According to some, Yandy isn't finished destroying bridges. She may just blame love and hip-hop producers as well, claiming that they fabricated scenes, manipulated the story, and forced viewers to endure emotional distress. She's reportedly prepared to provide names. And we may be witnessing the collapse of a whole VH1 empire if that occurs. The journey is far from done, so fasten your seatbelt. And this breakup may mark the start of Yandy Smith's retribution era. If she is ready to really let loose, baby, what we just saw wasn't a simple split. So please take a moment to relax. The Black Love Objective story that Yandy Smith and Mendeecees marketed to millions of people was completely demolished. I'm leaving this place, ride or die. It was all in this saga. A lot of tears in Dior, betrayal, control, dubious power plays, and covert phone trackers. It's your chance to comment now, though. Do you think Yandy was only putting up with Mendeecees' appearances for the sake of the brand, the publicity, or the illusion? Or was she truly in love with that man? That she loved him more than she loved herself. Let's also discuss what Mendeecees sees. Is he indeed the cunning one? People are now accusing him of being a selfish partner. Or was Yandy the savvy entrepreneur who always managed to slant the camera in her favor, pulling a long-term scam? We shared with you the tea, the receipts, the secrets, and the information that Bet would prefer not to be shared. We'd like to hear from you now. Leave your most outrageous theories in the comments section. Was it an illusion from a reality show? Or was it true love? Will the Yandy spinoff be unhindered and unchained at last? And do you believe Mendeecees will respond with a clap or remain silent and vanish from hip-hop and love history? If you're still shaken, remember to hit the like button. This isn't love and hip-hop, baby. So if you're here for the drama, hit subscribe and switch on notifications so you don't miss a messy expose like this one. This is Karma and Lies. Reality strikes back. As usual, keep drinking tea, stay awake, and stay messy.